I still remember the night the bet was made. It was a stupid, childish moment dressed in expensive suits, loud laughter, and the careless arrogance of wealthy men who believed money could buy everything, including dignity. I was no different then. My name is Tund Adewale, and at 37, I was already one of Lagos' youngest billionaires. Hotels, logistics, real estate, oil servicing, I had a hand in all of it. People called me the golden boy of Ikoyi. I lived fast, surrounded by other men who also lived fast. Back then, I thought that meant I was winning. It was a Friday night at Eco Atlantic's private members' lounge. Every table glowed under dim chandeliers. The leather seats smelled of expensive perfume and power. At our corner table sat 4 of us. Me, Kunal the bragging politician's son, Sola the tech genius, and Yinka the one who always behaved like life was one long comedy skit. We were drinking, joking, and talking too loud. You know how men behave when pride mixes with alcohol. Kunal leaned back, swirling his drink. Tund, for all your money, women still fear you, he teased. They only come near you because of what you can buy. I laughed like it didn't sting. And you? They follow your father's name, not you. Fair, he shrugged. But at least I don't pretend. Then Yinka slapped the table, laughing. Let's test something. Let's test Mr. Billionaire Lover Boy. Test what? I asked. Let's see whether you can marry someone, not your type. His grin stretched wide. Not those slim, perfect, model-looking girls you like. I frowned. What are you saying? Marry a big girl, he said carelessly. A real plus-size lady. Someone society ignores. Someone you wouldn't look at twice. The others burst into laughter. I should have stood up and left. I should have told them they were fools. But pride is a dangerous thing for a man. And men like us? Pride is our poison. I crossed my arms. And what will I gain from this stupidity? $5 million, Sola said immediately. Cash. Paid into any account you choose after the wedding. The table went quiet. $5 million. Even for me, that was not pocket change. It wasn't the money, though. It was the challenge. The dare. The arrogance of believing nothing could break me. I should have asked myself why I felt the need to prove anything. But I didn't. I was too full of myself. And how long must the marriage last? I asked, half smiling. 1 year, Sola said. Just one, Kunal added. You're a charming man, Yinka cackled. She will fall in love with you quickly. I smirked. And who chooses the woman? They exchanged mischievous glances. Leave that to us, Yinka said. That was my first mistake. The woman they chose was Aisha. I first saw her the next afternoon. They had dragged me to a charity brunch at a cultural center in Yaba. I don't even know why I agreed to go. Maybe it fed into the thrill of the challenge. She walked in wearing a lemon-yellow kaftan that flowed around her body. She was big, bigger than any woman I had ever dated or even really looked at. Not sloppy, no. Just full. A soft-bodied beauty with round cheeks, wide hips, and arms that looked like they could give the warmest hug in the world. But more than her size, what struck me was her smile. It was shy, warm, genuine. A smile that didn't seem to know how beautiful it was. That's her, Kunal whispered. I rolled my eyes. You didn't even let me prepare. There's nothing to prepare, Sola said under his breath. Just talk to her. Aisha didn't see us staring. She was busy organizing chairs with other volunteers, laughing at something an old woman said. Her headscarf had slipped a little, revealing a swirl of soft, shiny hair. She moved with grace, the kind that didn't demand attention but deserved it. She's the daughter of the woman who runs this place, Yinka said. Quiet girl. Good family. Very unnoticed. Trust me, she won't believe her luck if you talk to her. Those words annoyed me. Something about them felt wrong. But the bet had already dug itself into my pride like a hook. So I approached her. Hello, I said. She turned slowly, surprised. Up close, her eyes were even lovelier, rich, quiet brown, steady and soft. Good afternoon, she said politely, adjusting her scarf. I'm Tund, I introduced myself. She nodded once. Yes, I know. Everyone in Lagos knows you. She said it without flattery. Just fact. And you? I asked. Aisha. Her voice was gentle, almost musical. Not forced. Not trying to impress. Just herself. What brings you here? I asked. She raised an eyebrow. It's a charity center. People come to help, Mr. Tund. I chuckled. Fair point. She turned back to the chairs, expecting me to walk away. Women usually tried to hold my attention, not ignore me. But she wasn't trying to impress me. She wasn't even curious why I spoke to her. That challenged me more than the bet itself. "Can I help?" I asked. She paused before answering. "You can if you want to. Not if you want to take pictures for social media." She didn't smile. She wasn't joking. She was serious. Something in my chest shifted. I ended up staying there the whole afternoon. Not because I needed to, but because she had this quiet force that drew me in. She treated everyone kindly, even the rude ones. She listened more than she talked. And when she laughed, really laughed, it felt like something warm touching my skin. I wasn't expecting any of that. When we were leaving, she said something simple. "Thank you for helping. Most people with your status don't do the physical work." "Maybe I need to do more of it," I replied. She smiled again, that soft, disarming smile. And for a moment I forgot the bet. Over the next few weeks I kept finding reasons to visit the center. My friends teased me, but they didn't care as long as the wedding eventually happened. Aisha, though, didn't trust my presence. She was polite but distant, warm but guarded. Her mother, Mama Risi, liked me instantly. "Ah, fine young man," she'd say. "Aisha, greet him well." Oh. Aisha would roll her eyes. "Mummy, he came to work, not to be greeted." The more time I spent with her, the more I realized something. She was smart. Very smart. Book smart, street smart, and heart smart. She asked hard questions about life, purpose, and privilege. She challenged my easy answers. She didn't admire me blindly. She didn't melt when I talked. She didn't giggle when I joked. She saw me not the billionaire but the man. And that terrified me. One evening, while we were packing food baskets, she asked, "Why are you really here, Tund?" "I told you," I lied. "I want to do more good." She stared at me too long. "I hope that's true." "Why?" I asked. "Because your eyes," she hesitated. "They look like someone hiding something." My stomach tightened. No one had ever said that to me. The night I proposed, my friends celebrated like they had scored a goal in the World Cup. "Just 1 year, bro." Yinka laughed. "You're almost there." But I didn't feel victorious. I felt sick. Aisha was shocked when I asked her, "Tund, we've only known each other for 3 months." "I know," I said softly. "But I know what I want." "You barely know me. I want to learn you." She looked down at her hands, soft, beautiful hands. "People don't usually choose someone like me." That sentence broke something inside me. "Maybe people are blind," I whispered. She cried when she said yes. And for a split second I forgot the bet entirely. For a split second I felt lucky. But life has a way of dragging truth back to the surface. Especially lies built on pride. Our wedding was small, intimate, and beautiful. Her dress was simple but stunning. She glowed, not because of makeup but because happiness suited her. Everyone saw a love story. Only 4 of us knew the dirty secret at its foundation. I thought I could bury it. I thought 1 year would fly by quietly. But Aisha was not a woman meant for the shadows. She was fire waiting for air. And when the transformation began months later, slow at first then shocking, I realized something. This wasn't a game. This wasn't a bet anymore. This woman I had married for money was becoming the woman I couldn't imagine living without. But secrets don't die quietly. Especially $5 million ones. And the day she found out the truth, everything changed. Everything. I used to think marriage was like a business merger. You put 2 people together, give them a structure, and things would run themselves. But life doesn't work like that, and love certainly doesn't. Our first months of marriage were awkward. Not bad. Just unsure. Like 2 people learning the steps of a dance they never rehearsed. I moved Aisha into my house in Ikoyi, a sprawling waterfront mansion with long hallways, glass walls, and enough space to echo. But Aisha didn't act impressed. She walked through the house slowly, touching things gently, like she was afraid of breaking them. "You're quiet," I said that first night. She looked around the living room. "It's beautiful," she whispered. "But it feels empty." "Empty?" I laughed. "There are 20 rooms here." "That's exactly it," she said. "So many rooms but no life." I didn't know how to respond. No woman had ever called my home lifeless. But Aisha wasn't wrong. The house had been designed for comfort, not warmth. Everything was marble, glass, silver, and silent. She added softly, "I grew up in a small house, Tund. We all talked. We shared everything. A place can be big and still feel cold." I swallowed. I never thought of it that way." She smiled politely, but her eyes wandered to the windows as if searching for something familiar. That night she slept with her back to me. Not because she didn't like me, no. She was respectful, gentle. But she was cautious, like someone holding a fragile secret. It didn't help that guilt lay on my chest like a stone. Every time she smiled at me, the memory of the bet dug its claws deeper. A month into our marriage, I started noticing small changes in her. At first, it was her morning routine. She used to wake up quietly, pray and make tea. But suddenly she started going for dawn walks around the compound. I would see her through the bedroom window, alone, headscarf tied tight, walking slowly but consistently, her arms swinging with determination. At breakfast she'd eat lighter than before, more fruit, less fried food. "You're eating differently?" I asked one morning. She shrugged. "Just trying to take care of myself." "Why now?" Aisha smiled, and for the first time, I saw something fragile in her eyes. "Because being married means, maybe I should try to be my best self." Her words cut me deeply. She didn't know the truth. She was trying for me, for a marriage she believed was sincere. I forced a smile. "You're already enough." She looked at me with uncertainty. "You say that. But I know how people like me are seen." "How do you think I see you?" I asked. Aisha took a slow breath. "I don't know yet." Her honesty shook me. As the weeks passed, her dawn walks became evening jogs. Then gym sessions. Then a trainer. I never hired anyone, she found them herself, quietly, almost secretly. I asked her one evening, "Why are you pushing so hard?" She looked down at her hands. "Because I've spent all my life shrinking myself emotionally. The least I can do now is stop shrinking myself physically." I didn't understand that at first. Later I did. She had spent her whole life being careful. Careful not to take too much space, careful not to offend, careful not to be seen as the big girl who didn't belong. But marriage, even one built on a lie, had given her a new kind of boldness. And I was witnessing it in real time. Our emotional distance didn't last forever. One night, after a long day at work, I found her in the kitchen kneeling on the floor, laughing with the house chef, Mama Kuti. They were teaching each other recipes, Aisha showing her how her mother made pepper soup, and Mama Kuti teasing her about her cutting skills. "You're slicing that pepper like it insulted your family," she teased. Aisha burst into laughter, real hearty, vibrant laughter. I leaned on the doorframe quietly. It was the first time I truly saw her relax. Her laughter filled the room in a way my mansion had never felt before. When she finally noticed me watching, she froze. "Tund, you're home." "Don't stop," I said softly. "You look happy." She blushed. "I love cooking. It reminds me of home." I walked toward her slowly. "You don't need to hide the parts of you that make you feel alive." She stared at me, surprised. And just like that, the distance between us shifted slightly. One Saturday morning, we were driving to her mother's house for a family visit. She sat beside me in a floral dress, her hair tied up, her perfume soft and warm. "You haven't said much today," I said. "I'm thinking," she replied. "About what?" She hesitated, then spoke gently. "People at the center say I've changed." "No surprise there," I said. "You've been working hard." "That's not it," she said, her voice almost a whisper. "They say I look beautiful." "You've always been beautiful," I replied before thinking. She turned her face toward me slowly. "You've never said that before." She wasn't accusing me. She was just stating a fact. And that hurt even more. "I should have," I said. She looked out the window, a shy smile playing on her lips. Then she said something that stayed with me for weeks. "Sometimes I look in the mirror and I don't recognize the woman I'm becoming. Is that a bad thing?" I asked quietly. "I don't know yet." Her transformation wasn't only physical. It was emotional, spiritual. She was growing into someone stronger, more confident, more radiant. Her clothes changed, brighter colors, fitted dresses. She wore her hair differently. She walked with a new kind of assurance. She laughed more. She took up space, physically, emotionally, socially. And each day I found it harder to separate the lie from the truth. Harder to remember why this marriage had started. Harder to pretend she didn't matter. One evening after dinner we were sitting outside on the terrace. The lagoon breeze was cool, and the moon reflected on the water like melted silver. Aisha placed her cup down and said softly, "Tund, can I ask you something?" "Anything." "When you chose me, why me?" My heart stopped. This was the question I dreaded. The one question that could shatter everything. "I don't mean, why did you fall for me?" she added, trying to save me. "I mean, why did you approach me at the center that day? I wasn't special." "You were," I said instantly. She blinked. "How?" I looked at her, the softness of her cheeks, the warmth of her eyes, the new confidence in her posture, the kindness that radiated from her naturally. "You were real," I said. Everyone else around me wanted something. But you were just yourself. Her eyes glistened slightly. Sometimes I still feel like you're too good to be true. My throat tightened. If only she knew the truth. If only I had the courage to tell her. But I didn't. Because if I told her, I would lose her. And for the first time in my life, losing someone terrified me. As Aisha changed, my friends grew restless. Tund, don't tell me you're catching feelings, Kunal warned one night at the club. I didn't answer. Sola leaned forward. Remember the deal. 1 year. Then you walk. I should have walked away from that table. But instead, I heard myself saying, let's not talk about this here. Yinka laughed loudly. Omo, our guy is falling falling for the girl he married out of pity. My blood boiled. Enough. He raised an eyebrow. Ah. Tund is defending her now. I clenched my jaw. Respect my wife. They exchanged glances, surprised, amused, maybe even a little worried. Kunal lowered his voice. Don't forget the money. I didn't answer. Because I was no longer sure the money mattered. One evening, returning from a work trip, I found Aisha asleep on the couch, a book resting on her chest. She looked peaceful, almost angelic. I sat beside her quietly, watching her breathe. She stirred and opened her eyes slowly. You're back. I missed you, I said. The words escaped before I could catch them. She stared at me startled. You missed me? I nodded. She sat up slowly, her eyes soft and searching. Tund, are we becoming something real? I opened my mouth to answer. But before I could speak, her phone buzzed. She picked it up and froze. Her face changed. Her hand trembled. I leaned closer. Aisha, what's wrong? Her lips parted in shock. Tund, this message, it's about you. My heart dropped. What message? She swallowed hard, her eyes filling with fear, or betrayal. It says there's something you married me for. Something I don't know. I felt the ground vanish under my feet. Who sent it? I whispered. Aisha looked at me slowly. And her voice cracked as she said, your friends? ChatGPT said. Below is chapter 3, 1500 words, same POV, same style, African setting, emotional tone, and ending with a cliffhanger. When you're ready, say, next chapter. Chapter 3. I could hear my own heartbeat. Loud. Violent. Like it was trying to punch its way out of my chest. Aisha's face was pale, her hands shaking slightly as she stared at the message on her phone. Her voice was trembling, but her eyes, those soft, warm eyes, were filled with something I had never seen from her before. Fear. And suspicion. Tund, she whispered, what is this? I reached for the phone, but she pulled it back instinctively as if my touch might burn her. Let me see it, I said quietly. She hesitated, then turned the screen toward me. There it was. A single anonymous text. Ask your husband why he really married you. Ask him about the deal. Ask him about the 5M. My entire world tilted. Who sent this? She asked again. I forced my voice to remain steady. It's a lie. She stared at me, searching my face. But why would someone send this? Her voice cracked. Did I do something wrong? Did I offend someone? No, I said quickly. This has nothing to do with you. Then what? Her voice rose, wounded. Who hates me enough to say something like this? Her confusion cut deeper than accusation ever could. Aisha wasn't thinking the worst. She wasn't assuming I was guilty. She was blaming herself. And that made my stomach twist painfully. I sat beside her and spoke gently. Aisha, listen to me. Someone is trying to cause trouble. Who? She asked. I paused. I should have told the truth right there. My friends. My pride. My stupidity. But fear glued my tongue. A jealous person, I lied. Someone who can't stand seeing us happy. She looked at me for a long time, her eyes heavy with emotions I couldn't read. Tund. I trust you, she whispered. But this message, she swallowed hard. I feel like something is watching me. Like someone knows something I don't. I will handle it, I said firmly. She looked away. Please do. But even as she said it, I could feel a gap opening between us, thin but dangerous, like the first crack in a wall before it collapses. That night, she slept on her side of the bed, barely moving, barely breathing. I lay awake staring at the ceiling, feeling like a coward. I should have ended the bet the moment her hand touched mine on our wedding day. I should have told her the truth the moment I realized I cared. But I didn't. And now the lie was spreading like smoke in a locked room. The next morning she woke up early. Earlier than usual. By the time I came downstairs, she was dressed, scarf tied neatly, her bag slung over her shoulder. "You're going out?" I asked. "Yes." "Where?" "To the center." "Without breakfast?" "I'm not hungry." Her tone was polite, respectful, but distant, like something inside her had withdrawn. "Aisha," I said softly, "can we talk before you leave?" She froze for half a second, then nodded reluctantly. "All right." We sat at the dining table. Aisha clasped her hands together so tightly her knuckles turned white. "I didn't sleep well," she said quietly. "That message. I'll find the person who sent it," I repeated. She shook her head slightly. "That's not what I'm worried about." "Then what?" She raised her eyes, and what I saw there crushed me. Why did the message feel so possible? I felt heat rush through my chest. She continued, her voice trembling with vulnerability. "When we met, you were so far above my world, Tund. I used to think you approached me because you saw something in me. But sometimes," she blinked hard, "sometimes I wonder if I was just convenient." "Aisha." "But then I tell myself no," she whispered. "You've been nothing but kind, patient, respectful. So why does this message feel like a shadow I can't shake?" Because it was the truth. But I wasn't brave enough to say that. Instead, I took her hand gently. "I married you because I wanted to." Her eyes glistened. "I want to believe you." I swallowed the guilt burning in my throat. "Believe me?" After a long moment she nodded. But her hand slipped out of mine slowly. And that hurt more than anything. When she left the house, I grabbed my keys and drove straight to Sola's office. I didn't knock. I stormed in. He looked up from his laptop, surprised. "Tund?" I slammed my palms on his desk. "Which one of you did it?" His eyebrows rose. "What are you talking about? Don't play dumb with me." I snapped. "The message Aisha received. One of you sent it." Sola leaned back, crossing his arms. "We didn't send anything." "We," I repeated. "So the three of you discussed it?" He hesitated just for a moment, but I saw it. That was enough. "So you know about it," I said coldly. "Someone got impatient," he muttered. I cursed under my breath. "I told you all to stay out of my marriage. Tund, it's been almost a year. The timeline is ending. You haven't given us any update. I don't owe you updates on my marriage." "But you owe us the agreement," he said firmly. "We made a deal." I stared at him in disbelief. "You still expect me to leave her?" He sighed. "Don't tell me you've forgotten why all this started." I clenched my jaw. "I haven't forgotten. I regret it. That wasn't part of the terms." I felt something inside me snap. Damn the terms. Sola stiffened. "You're throwing away $5 million? I don't care about the money." His expression darkened. "But we care." I shook my head in disgust. "You people are sick." He stood. "Tund, listen. You're losing your head over a woman who doesn't even fully trust you. And when she finds out the truth, because one day she will hate you. Then I will live with it," I said quietly. He scoffed. "So you'd rather ruin your friendship with us?" I stared at him. "If this is what friendship means to you, then we were never friends." Sola's jaw tightened, but he didn't answer. I walked out. And for the first time since the bet began, I realized something painful. I wasn't fighting to win anymore. I was fighting not to lose Aisha. When I got back home that evening, Aisha was in the living room, sitting quietly with her hands in her lap. She wasn't reading. She wasn't watching TV. She was just thinking. "Welcome," she said. Her voice was gentle, but her smile didn't reach her eyes. I sat beside her. "You came home early." "I wasn't feeling well," she whispered. I touched her hand. "What's wrong?" She hesitated, then looked at me slowly. "Tund, today someone at the center told me something." My chest tightened. "What did they say?" Aisha swallowed. "They said, I'm changing. That I look different. That I look beautiful." "You are." She blinked rapidly, tears forming. "But then, they asked me why my husband looks at me the way you do." The room felt suddenly too small. I forced my voice to stay calm. "And how do they think I look at you?" She looked away. "Like you're hiding something." My stomach twisted. "Tund," her voice broke. "Is there something you want to tell me?" I opened my mouth. But nothing came out. Nothing. Not a word. She stared at me, hopeful, frightened, desperate for truth. And because I hesitated, even for a second, her expression slowly collapsed. Her voice was barely audible. "Tund, what did you marry me for?" I swallowed hard. "Aisha." She raised a trembling hand. "Please. Don't lie to me. I closed my eyes. And in that moment I felt everything crumble inside me. Because I knew, if I told her the truth I might lose her forever. But if I lied again, I might destroy her completely. I opened my eyes. She was still waiting, still hoping, still believing. Tund, she whispered, her voice cracking, I need the truth. I took a slow, painful breath. And just as I whispered her name, her phone buzzed again. She picked it up. Her face went white. Tund, she choked. Another message. My heart stopped. What does it say? Her lips trembled as she read it aloud. Ask him about the night at Eco Atlantic. Ask him what he wagered. Ask him why he chose you. She turned to me, tears spilling freely now. Tund, what happened that night? And I knew. I couldn't hide anymore. But before I could speak, we both heard the front gate open. Footsteps. Voices. Angry voices. Then, a hard knock on the door. Aisha looked at me terrified. Tund, who is that? I swallowed hard. It's them, I whispered. My friends. The banging on the door echoed through the house like thunder. Aisha flinched with every hit, her fingers gripping the edge of the couch so tightly her knuckles turned pale. Tund, she whispered, why are your friends here? Why are they shouting? I didn't answer immediately. Because the truth was, I had no idea what state they were in. Or what they planned to do. Or what they might say. All I knew was that they had crossed a line the moment they involved Aisha. The banging continued. Tund, open this door. It was Yinka's voice, loud, impatient, arrogant. The same voice that had laughed when I first agreed to the stupid bet. Aisha's eyes darted toward mine, full of fear. Please, don't open it. I won't, I said. Just stay behind me. But the knocking only grew louder, angrier. Tund, we know you're in there. Open up. She jumped again, trembling. I stepped closer to her, placing a hand gently on her arm. It's okay, I whispered. They won't come inside unless I let them. But why are they here? She cried. What else do they want from you? From us. Her voice was breaking, sinking into a soft panic that shattered me. This was supposed to be her safe place. Her home. Now it felt like a battlefield. I squeezed her hand lightly. Let me handle it. Another round of pounding echoed through the hallway. Tund, we need to talk, now. I took a deep breath and walked toward the door. Aisha grabbed my wrist. Please, don't leave me alone. My chest tightened. I turned to her, cupping her cheeks gently. I'm not leaving you. I'm just opening the door enough to speak to them. I won't let them touch you. I won't let them hurt you. I promise. She swallowed hard and nodded. I opened the door halfway and stepped out, shutting it behind me before they could push their way in. All three of them were there. Kunal, Sola, and Yinka. Standing on my front porch like a pack of hyenas. Yinka scoffed when he saw me. Omo, you're acting like we're strangers now. Kunal folded his arms, clearly annoyed. Why are you making this difficult? Sola looked the calmest, but even his eyes held a cold sharpness. We need to talk. I stepped back, keeping my voice low. Not here. Not in front of my wife. Yinka rolled his eyes dramatically. Your wife? Since when did she become your priority? Kunal nodded toward the door. We warned you not to get attached. I clenched my jaw. Why did you message her? Yinka smirked. Because you're dragging this out. A whole year, Tund. We agreed on a simple bet. 1 year married to the girl, then you walk. Collect your 5 million. Finish. You think it's still that simple? I snapped. Sola's expression hardened. Whether it's simple or not, it's what we agreed. Something inside me snapped. I don't care about the agreement anymore, I said through clenched teeth. And I don't care about the money. Kunal scoffed. That's a lie. Nobody throws away $5 million. I just did, I said. Yinka laughed loudly. Then you're an even bigger fool than we thought. My fists tightened at my sides. I'm warning all of you, stay away from my wife. Or what? Kunal asked. You'll fight us. I stepped closer. If I have to. Yinka clicked his tongue. All this over a woman who doesn't even know the truth yet? I stiffened. He smirked. So she still doesn't know? Interesting. Sola shook his head in disappointment. Tund, lying to her this long is cruel. We all know what will happen when the truth comes out. Then let me handle it, I said sharply. It doesn't matter, Yinka said. Because she's going to find out. We'll make sure of it. I froze. What did you say? Kunal stepped forward, voice low and threatening. If you don't end this marriage now, we will end it for you. And trust me, Our way will break her. My blood turned cold. You touch her, I whispered, and I swear. Sola raised a hand calmly. Relax. We're not touching her. We just need her to know the truth. Then she'll walk away herself. I felt the air leave my lungs. That's your plan? I asked quietly. Destroy her just to force my hand? Yinka shrugged. She'll survive. People get embarrassed every day. Embarrassed? That word made my chest burn. They weren't thinking about her heart, her dignity, her trust, her trauma. All they cared about was winning some stupid game. I stepped between them and the door, my voice cold. You are not speaking to her. You are not coming into my home. You are not sending her another message. If you try. What? Yinka taunted. What will you do? I will end every one of you, I said quietly. And I meant it. The three of them stared at me. And for the first time, I saw fear in their eyes. Sola spoke first, voice tight. Have it your way. But when this explodes, and it will, you'll regret choosing her over your brothers. I shook my head slowly. You were never my brothers. I turned and re-entered the house, locking the door behind me. Their footsteps faded slowly down the driveway. But inside, everything had already changed. Aisha was standing at the bottom of the staircase when I turned around. Her arms were wrapped around herself, her eyes wide and frightened. You shouted, she whispered. I tried to steady my breathing. I'm sorry. They were. What bet? The question hit me like a punch to the chest. My lips parted. Aisha. What bet? She repeated, voice cracking painfully. I heard you. You said, you don't care about the money. Tund, what money? She stepped toward me trembling. Her eyes were wet. Her breath unsteady. The room suddenly felt too quiet. Too sharp. Tund, she whispered. What did you wager? I closed my eyes. I felt like I was standing at the edge of a cliff, the wind pushing me forward. Please, she begged softly. Tell me the truth. I opened my eyes. And I knew. This was the moment that would change everything. I took a slow breath. Aisha, before we met, I was with my friends at Eco Atlantic. We were talking about relationships. They teased me that I always went for slim, flashy women, never someone real. Never someone ordinary. She stared at me, tears streaming silently. And then, my voice shook. They dared me. They said I couldn't marry someone who wasn't society's ideal. Someone fuller. Softer. Someone they thought I'd never choose. Her lips trembled. And they offered you money. Yes, I whispered. $5 million. She gasped softly as if something inside her cracked. I reached for her. Aisha, please, let me explain. She stepped back sharply, shaking her head. So I was, a challenge? A test? A joke? No. I cried. No, Aisha, listen to me. Don't touch me, she screamed suddenly, raw hurt spilling out of her. You married me for a bet? The pain in her voice nearly brought me to my knees. I didn't know you then, I said desperately. I didn't know you'd become the most important person in my life. I didn't know I'd fall. Stop, she whispered. Please, stop. She wiped her cheeks with shaking hands. So the whole time, she inhaled sharply. All this time, I was just proving a point for you? No, Aisha. She turned away, sobbing quietly. Then she whispered the words that ripped my heart in half. I wish you had never chosen me, Aisha. And I wish I had never loved you. I staggered back as if she'd slapped me. Love. She loved me? Before I could speak, before I could touch her, hold her, explain myself, she walked toward the stairs. Aisha, please, let's talk. But she didn't stop. She didn't look back. She climbed the stairs slowly, each step like a door closing forever. At the top of the stairs, she paused, her voice barely audible. You broke me, Tund. Then she disappeared into the bedroom and shut the door. I stood alone in the silence, every breath burning my lungs. Then, a sound vibrated from the hallway. Aisha's phone on the console table. Another message. I walked toward it slowly. The preview text flashed on the screen. From an unknown number. Now that she knows, tell her the rest. Tell her what you said about her body before the bet started. My entire body went numb. There was more. Something else. Something I didn't want her to hear. Something she must never hear. Because if she did, she would never forgive me. And maybe she shouldn't. I did not sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her, more Nike, sitting at the edge of the bed with her arms folded tightly across her chest, trying to hide pain she didn't deserve. The truth sat on my chest like a stone. I had entered her life as a wolf, pretending to be a man. And now, even though I finally wanted to be a man, the wolf in my past was threatening everything. The next morning, I drove back home slower than I had ever driven in Lagos traffic. My hands were shaking on the steering wheel, and my heart thumped in a heavy, uneven beat. The closer I got to our house in Ikoyi, the more guilt wrapped around my throat. She was in the living room when I walked in, wearing a simple peach dress, hair tied up in a bun, face bare, eyes swollen from crying. She looked like a woman trying to stand strong, but the foundation of her world had cracked right beneath her feet. I stopped at the doorway. We stared at each other for several seconds. Her voice came out quiet, tired. So, the truth finally showed its face. I swallowed. More Nike. She lifted her hand. Don't lie to me. Don't tell me you married me because you loved me then. Maybe you do now, I don't know. But tell me the truth of then. Why did you choose me? Her question sliced through me. I felt my knees weaken. I walked forward slowly and sat across from her, hands trembling. It started as a bet, I whispered. $5 million. My friends thought I couldn't convince a confident, beautiful, plus-size woman like you to fall for me. They said I only dated models, so I wasn't. She inhaled sharply, pain flashing in her eyes. I closed my eyes. I'm sorry. Silence. A long, long silence. Then she asked the question that broke me completely. So, I was entertainment? A challenge? Something to win? I buried my face in my hands. At first, yes. She let out a wounded laugh, one that didn't sound like her at all. At first, always at first. I looked up, but everything changed. I swear. I wasn't prepared for you. I didn't know you would be you. She shook her head. Don't romanticize your guilt. I was living my life. Working, dreaming, building. I let you in because you were kind. Because you saw me. Or I thought you did. Her voice cracked, and that was worse than shouting. Worse than anger. It was the kind of hurt that lived deep. More Nike, please. I didn't know love would come from this. I didn't know I would start waking up early just to watch you sleep. I didn't know your laughter would become the thing that pulled me through my hardest days. I didn't know I would fall in love with your strength, your softness, and how you care for everyone around you. I didn't know losing you would terrify me the way it does now. She wiped her cheek with the back of her hand. You already lost me the day you made me a bet. The quiet between us grew heavier. I tried again. What can I do to make it right? You can't, she said simply. Because your friends, those men, they still see me as the punchline. I don't care what they see. But I care, she shouted suddenly, voice echoing through the room. I'm not ashamed of my body. I have never been. But you used it. You used what makes me unique, what makes me beautiful, as a bargaining chip. You bet on it. You made me a commodity. Her words felt like nails in my chest. She stood, pacing slowly, arms wrapped around herself. Every small thing now feels like a lie. Every compliment you ever gave me, every sweet word. I'll always wonder if it was real or part of the game. It was real, I insisted. Too real. That's why I stopped the bet long ago. I told them I was out. You still didn't tell me. I had no defense. She looked at me with eyes filled with exhaustion and betrayal. You want forgiveness. But forgiveness is not something you demand because you suddenly feel sorry. I know, I said quietly. I need time, she whispered. A cold fear swept through me. Time away, from me? She breathed out shakily. I don't know. I just know I can't look at you without remembering everything you kept from me. I can't touch you without wondering if you counted it as a point in your game. She walked to the window, staring out at the bright Lagos skyline. I need myself back. Before you, she said. Before all of this. My throat tightened. Are you leaving? Not yet, she replied. But I need space. And I need the truth, about everything. All of it. Every lie. Every detail. I nodded slowly. You'll have it. She turned from the window. Also, I want the names. My heart stopped. The names? Yes. Her eyes hardened. The men who placed the bet with you. I want to know the people who thought I wasn't worthy of genuine love. More Nike. Don't protect them, she said coldly. You already failed to protect me. Her words struck the deepest part of me. I whispered their names one by one. Each name tasted like poison. Each name felt like betrayal all over again. She listened without blinking, storing every syllable in her heart like a wound she was cataloging. When I finished, she sighed. Good. Now leave me alone until I call for you. I stood slowly, every movement heavy as if I were walking underwater. I walked out of the living room, out of the house, down the steps. And then I sat in my car, staring at the steering wheel, unable to breathe. I loved her. And I was losing her. For the next few days she barely spoke to me. She stayed in the guest room, came out only to eat quietly, and avoided my eyes. I gave her space, hoping she would call me in. Hoping she would ask for a conversation. Hoping she would still want me. But the distance was growing like a river between us. Then one evening I came home and found a small suitcase near the door. My heart dropped. She stood there wearing jeans and a black top, hair down, face calm in a way that terrified me. "I'm going to my sister's place for a while," she said softly. "More Nike, please." "This is not punishment," she cut in gently. "I just need air. I need to breathe without you near me. I need to remember who I am when my heart is not shaking. Can I visit?" "Not yet." I felt something inside me collapse. She picked up her small suitcase and brushed past me. The scent of her hair hit me, vanilla and hibiscus. The scent I knew by heart. At the door she stopped. She turned around slowly, looked at me for a long, painful moment, and whispered, "I love you. That is what makes this hurt so deeply." And then she walked out. I stood alone in the silent house, my heart echoing the emptiness around me. But what I didn't know, what I couldn't have imagined, was that her journey away from me was about to set off a transformation so extraordinary, so powerful, that it would shake both our lives. Something was coming. Something I wasn't prepared for. And it would change everything. The house felt like a graveyard after she left. No footsteps. No humming from the kitchen. No soft laughter drifting down the hallway. Just silence, thick, punishing silence. I tried calling her the first night. She didn't pick. I tried texting the next morning. She read the messages but didn't reply. On the third day her sister, Dupe, sent me a simple message. "Give her space." Space. It was killing me. I kept pacing around our bedroom. Her scent everywhere, her hair wrapped still on her side of the bed, her favorite book on the nightstand. Every corner of the house felt wrong without her. On the fourth day, I drove to her sister's compound in Lekki. I stood outside the gate, ashamed of myself but desperate to see her. I couldn't even bring myself to press the bell. What would I say? Come home even though I betrayed you? Forgive me even though I broke something precious? I sat there like a fool until the security guard politely asked me to move my car. I left. But that night, something changed. Around 9 p.m. my phone buzzed. My heart jumped when I saw her name. "More Nike. I'm joining a wellness retreat for a few weeks. Please don't contact me unless it's an emergency." A wellness retreat? I didn't understand. She'd never mentioned anything like that before. I typed quickly, hands shaking. "Me. Are you okay?" She replied after a long pause. "More Nike. I'm not okay. That's why I need this." And that was the last message. For 10 whole days. During those 10 days, I lived like a man waiting for a miracle. My business partners noticed my distracted energy. My mother kept asking questions I couldn't answer. People started whispering. But none of that mattered. Every day I woke up hoping she'd walk back in. And every night I went to bed with the crushing weight of loneliness. On the 11th day I received a call from Dupe. I grabbed my phone instantly. "How is she? Is she okay? Did something happen?" She sighed. "Relax. She's fine. Better than fine, actually. The program is good for her. She needed it." "What kind of program?" "You'll see," she said. "But she's healing, in ways even she didn't expect." "Healing? Healing from me?" The thought stabbed. But Dupe wasn't done. "Listen, she didn't ask me to call you. But I need you to hear this. You hurt her more deeply than you understand. Don't show up there. Don't interfere. Just be patient." "Will she come home?" I asked, my voice painfully small. Dupe was silent for a moment. Then she said quietly, "She'll come back when she's ready, with answers. Whether you'll like those answers or not, I can't tell you." She hung up. My stomach twisted. I felt sick. But she was alive. She was safe. And that had to be enough. 3 more weeks crawled by. I lost weight. I stopped attending social gatherings. Every time my phone vibrated, my entire body tightened. Then, one Tuesday morning, after almost a month and a half, her name flashed on my screen. "More Nike. Can we meet tomorrow? 5 p.m. at Freedom Park." My heart slammed against my ribs. Me. Yes. Yes. Of course. I didn't sleep that night. The next day, I arrived at Freedom Park 25 minutes early. My palms were sweating. My chest was tight. Every sound around me felt too loud. I kept scanning the entrance. Then I saw her. And my breath stopped. She walked slowly, confidently. Sunlight poured over her like a spotlight. Her hair was styled in soft curls that brushed her shoulders. Her skin glowed like she'd been living on peace and fresh air. And her body. She was still plus size. Still beautiful. Still her. But something about her had changed. She carried herself differently, stronger, lighter, more certain. Her waist was slimmer, her posture straighter, her face more defined. But that wasn't the transformation that hit me the hardest. It was her eyes. Calm, clear, steady. Not broken. Not wounded. But powerful. As she approached, conversations around us felt muted. People turned. She didn't seem to notice. She stopped right in front of me. "Hello," she said simply. I felt something in my chest melt. "Hi." We stood in silence for a few seconds before she gestured toward a bench. "Let's sit." I nodded, unable to take my eyes off her. When we sat down, she rested her hands on her lap, fingers intertwined. "I went away to heal," she said. "But I also went away to find myself again. To build myself from the inside out. For years, I carried the weight of other people's opinions. Strangers, family, even men who stared at my body like it was a joke. Then I found out the person I loved most used my body as a game piece." My throat tightened. I swallowed hard. "I know. And I'm sorry." She nodded. "I believe you're sorry. But I didn't go away hoping you'd fix anything. I went away to fix myself." She looked up at the sky, then back at me. The retreat wasn't just fitness. It was therapy. Meditation. Emotional rebuilding. They helped me face my wounds. The childhood teasing. The adult judgment. The abandonment. The insecurities I hid under confidence. All of it. I blinked. I hadn't known she ever felt insecure. She had always seemed so strong. "I came back because I'm not running anymore," she said. "Not from myself, and not from you either." My heart started beating faster. "Does that mean you're coming home?" She looked at me for a long moment. Her eyes softened, but there was something else in them. Something that made my heartbeat skip painfully. "Maybe," she said softly. "But not as the same woman. And not to the same man." A knot formed in my stomach. Then she reached into her bag and pulled out an envelope. She handed it to me. "What's this?" I asked. "Something I found out during the retreat. Something important." I opened it. There were documents inside, photos too. My blood ran cold. My hands shook. What is this?" I whispered. She looked at me with a calm expression. "The bet wasn't $5 million, she said quietly. "It was 10. I stared at her, unable to breathe. "I found out," she continued, voice steady. "And that's not even the worst part." A wave of dread washed over me. "What do you mean?" I asked. She inhaled slowly. "One of your friends, the ones who made the bet." She looked into my eyes with a stare so sharp it pierced me. "He came to see me while I was away." My entire world froze. When her words landed, "One of your friends came to see me while I was away," I felt something inside me snap so hard I almost doubled over. My vision blurred for a moment. My pulse thundered behind my ears. I gripped the envelope, knuckles pale, forcing myself to breathe. "Who?" I asked quietly. She didn't answer immediately. She just looked ahead at the fountain where children were playing, her expression unreadable, her posture calm in a way that frightened me more than anger ever could. "More Nike," I said again, my voice rough. "Who?" Finally, she turned her head and looked at me. "You already know," she whispered. And I did. A flash of rage shot through me. "Tund," I breathed. She didn't blink. "Yes." The name fell between us like a bomb. Tund. My closest friend. My childhood friend. The man who pushed the bet harder than anyone. The man who always mocked my relationships. The man who said More Nike was a seasonal project, not a wife. "You went to see her?" My hands trembled. "What did he say to you?" I forced out, my voice barely steady. She exhaled slowly, clasping her fingers together. "That depends. Do you want the gentle version or the truth?" "The truth," I said instantly. She nodded. "He told me everything. All the details you left out. Every ugly word. Every joke. Every comment you all made behind my back. He said you chose me because you were bored. That you planned to dump me after you collected your 10 million. That you were never serious about me." My chest tightened with every sentence like someone was twisting a blade inside me. "He said," she continued softly, "that you were only staying with me this long because you didn't want to lose the money. That your guilt was fake. That you were performing remorse so I wouldn't expose you." I shook my head violently. No. No. That's a lie. You know that's a lie." "Do I?" she asked quietly. Her question sank deep. For the first time in my life I felt completely helpless. I leaned forward, burying my face in my hands. More Nike, I swear on my life, on everything I have, I don't care about that money. I don't care about the bet. I don't care about anything except you. I swear to you. I know, she said unexpectedly. I froze. Slowly I lifted my head. She was watching me with eyes full of something I couldn't read. Pain wrapped in understanding, disappointment mixed with a strange softness. I know Tun lied about some things, she said. I know he exaggerated. And I know he went to see me for a reason. What reason? I asked, though fear already had its hand on my throat. She hesitated, then said quietly. He's in love with me. The world tilted. What? Yes. She looked down at her lap. He told me he's always admired me. That he didn't understand what you saw in me at first. But the more he watched me, the more he realized I was wasted on you. His words. Heat flashed through my body, rage, disbelief, humiliation all tangled together. I will kill him, I whispered before I could stop myself. Don't say that, she murmured. More Nike, he was my friend. And I stuttered, choking on the betrayal. He dared to go to you when you were vulnerable? He dared to speak to you about us. She looked at the ground. He said he could treat me better than you ever could. That he would love me without games. Without shame. Without using me. My fists balled so tightly my nails dug into my palms. He took advantage of your pain, I said. He used your hurt to get close to you. She didn't respond. Did you believe him? I asked quietly. She looked up immediately, hurt flashing across her face. No. Not in the way you think. But I listened. That hurt too. She sighed. I listened because I was broken. Because I didn't trust you. Because you hadn't earned my truth yet. I nodded slowly. I deserved that. But I also listened, she added, because I wanted to hear how low your friends could go. I tightened my jaw. They're not my friends. Well, she said softly, they were. I swallowed hard. The truth of that stung. For years I had surrounded myself with men who applauded my worst behavior. Men who mocked vulnerability. Men who saw women as objects, and encouraged me to do the same. It took losing the love of my life to finally see them clearly. She shifted slightly, looking at me with quiet intensity. Do you want to know the worst part? My heart thudded painfully. Yes. She leaned back, eyes fixed on mine. Tun told me that you were only suddenly fighting for me because you lost, because I found out. He said you never intended to confess. You were comfortable living the lie as long as I was happy. That's not true, I said quietly. She watched me, waiting. I wanted to tell you, I continued. 1,000 times. I almost told you after we got married. After our honeymoon. The day you cooked that jollof that was so bad I thought I'd die. I gave a weak smile, but she didn't. I almost confessed then. I almost did many times. But every time I looked at you, I was scared of losing what I found. I should have told you. I know. She looked away. Silence stretched, heavy, suffocating. Then she said something that made the ground beneath me shift. I didn't call you here today to punish you or to tell you everything Tun said. Then, why? She took a deep breath, her fingers trembling slightly. I called you because the retreat changed me. It made me see the world differently. It made me see myself differently. I realized I've spent too much time letting people define my worth, family, strangers, and yes, even you. A lump formed in my throat. And now, she said firmly, I'm choosing myself. Fear slammed into me so hard I felt dizzy. What does that mean? She turned fully toward me, her expression calm but unshakable. It means, she said gently, I'm not coming back home yet. I closed my eyes. It felt like someone had ripped open my chest. But, she continued softly, I'm not leaving you forever either. My eyes opened again. Hope and terror waged war inside me. I need time, she said. Real time. To see who I am without you. To see who you are without me. To understand if this love is something that can be repaired, or something we should release. Her voice cracked at the last word and I felt something inside my chest break completely. More Nike, I whispered. Please. I'll change. I'll fight. I'll do anything. Just, don't let go of us. She smiled sadly. That's the problem. Right now, I don't know what us means. Her words echoed between us. She stood slowly. Instinctively, I grabbed her hand. She froze, but didn't pull away. Her hand was warm. Familiar. Home. I looked up at her. I love you, I whispered. Not the bet. Not the game. Not the past. I love you. All of you. Her eyes glistened. I know, she said softly. But love isn't always enough. A tear slipped down my cheek before I could stop it. She gently pulled her hand free. I have one more thing to tell you, she said. I wiped my face. What is it? She hesitated, then spoke. Tund isn't giving up. In fact, he's planning something. Something big. And I think it's about you. I stared at her, my blood running ice cold. What are you talking about? She swallowed. He said you don't deserve the life you have. And that soon, you won't have it. My heart stopped. What did he mean? I asked, my voice shaking. She looked at me, fear flickering in her eyes for the first time. I think, she whispered, he's trying to destroy you. I woke up before dawn, long before the birds began their familiar argument outside my window. Sleep had refused to stay with me. I kept tossing, kept turning, kept replaying last night's moment. Aisha standing alone beside her car, tears in her eyes, whispering that she was tired of fighting for a place in a house that never welcomed her. I didn't even realize when the ache in my chest became physical. It felt like someone had placed a stone there. I had broken this woman. Me. The same man who once saw her as nothing more than an opportunity to win a stupid bet. I sat up slowly and rubbed my face. It was the heaviest morning I'd felt in years. Even before my father's death, before my company nearly collapsed, before the world had begun to see me as some robotic billionaire with no soul, nothing felt as heavy as this. Aisha had left the house. And I didn't know if she would come back. My heart raced at the thought. I rose from the bed and walked to the window, staring at the faint glow of sunrise over the city. Lagos looked peaceful from this distance. Like nothing was wrong. Like people weren't hurting. Like lives weren't falling apart in beautiful houses with expensive fences. I showered quickly, dressed, and went downstairs. The entire place was quiet, too quiet. Even the staff seemed to be holding their breath. I walked into the kitchen and saw Mama Rose, our head cook, staring at me with those eyes that always saw more than she said. Good morning, sir. I nodded. Where is everyone? She hesitated. Sir. Madam left early. She carried a small suitcase. My heart almost stopped. Did she say where she was going? No, sir, she said softly. But, she didn't look well. I swallowed hard. Did she eat? No, sir. Mama Rose shook her head sadly. She said she had no appetite. Guilt stabbed me like a knife. I picked up my car key. If she comes back. Mama Rose interrupted gently. Sir, I don't think Madam plans to come back soon. Her words hit me like a blow. But I didn't argue. I just hurried out of the house and got into my car. I tried calling Aisha. The phone rang once, twice, then switched off. She blocked me? Or the phone died? My hands tightened around the steering wheel. I drove to her best friend's place first, Zainab. She opened the door cautiously and looked surprised to see me. She's not here, she said immediately, even before I asked. I don't know where she is. Please, I said, desperate. Zainab, I need to talk to her. Well, she replied sharply, folding her arms, you should have thought about that before humiliating her. Before breaking her heart. Before reminding her of the one thing she's been trying to escape her whole life. I lowered my gaze, shame washing over me. She told you everything? I whispered. Yes. Her voice broke a little. And you know the worst part? She didn't even tell me with anger. She told me with pain. Pain she didn't deserve. I sighed deeply. I know. And I want to fix it. Zainab looked at me long and hard. Do you love her? She asked suddenly. The question hit me unexpectedly. Well, did I? I remembered her laughter. Her softness. The way she looked at me even when she was furious. The strength she carried in silence. The gentleness in her hands. The fire in her arguments. Her dreams. Her scars. Her courage. My chest tightened. Yes, I said quietly. I love her. Zainab blinked, perhaps surprised by how quickly the answer came. Then she sighed. Love will not be enough, she whispered. Not for this level of wound. I know. My throat felt thick. But I will fight for her. Even if it takes the rest of my life. She studied me again, slower this time. As if searching my soul. Finally, she stepped aside and gestured to her living room. Come inside. I followed. She sat. I sat. She called me late last night, Zainab said. She was shaking. She said everything finally made sense. The distant way you looked at her at first, how your friends treated her, how you never introduced her properly at events, how you always got tense when someone mentioned the beginning of your relationship. Each word cut. She said she felt like a joke. I closed my eyes. But, Zainab continued, she didn't tell me where she was going. She only said she needed time. Time. The one thing I feared most. Because time could heal. But it could also erase. I stood and thanked Zainab, then drove aimlessly for a while. Past the streets where Aisha and I once walked. Past the restaurant where she laughed so loudly the waiter joined in. Past the little market where she bought a basket just because the seller looked sad. Memories were everywhere. The world suddenly looked full of her. By afternoon, I drove to her aunt's place in Suralere. The woman welcomed me but shook her head. No, my son. She's not here. I left my number again just in case and drove away. Where could she be? The sun was beginning to set. My eyes felt sore. My throat felt raw. I'd been calling her every hour. No response. At some point, I stopped at a small roadside suya stand. I didn't even know why. I just sat in the car staring into nothing as the vendor fanned the meat over glowing charcoal. How did I get to this point? When did Aisha become the center of my life? How did I fall in love with the same woman I used to insult behind her back? How did I let greed blind me this badly? I rubbed my face again. A car honked behind me. I quickly drove off. By evening I returned home exhausted. Broken. My steps felt heavy as I walked inside. The house felt too big, too empty, too cold. I went upstairs to our bedroom. Her side of the wardrobe was half empty. The sight stung me. I sat on the bed and put my head in my hands. The silence pressed against my chest like a weight. Then suddenly, my phone buzzed. My heart jumped violently. It was an unknown number. With trembling fingers I answered. Hello? I breathed. There was a long pause. Then a soft voice, fragile, trembling, came through the phone. Colonel. I need to tell you something. My entire body froze. Aisha? Where are you? Are you safe? Please, let me come to you. No, she whispered. Don't come yet. You need to hear this first. My heart hammered. Okay, I whispered, afraid to breathe. Another long pause. Then she said something that made the blood drain from my face. Colonel, I'm not alone. I'm with someone. And before anything else, you need to know. He has something to tell you too. My mind spun. What do you mean? I asked, voice shaking. Who are you with? There was silence again. Then a deep male voice, one I recognized, but couldn't immediately place, came on the line. Colonel, the man said quietly. We need to talk about your wife. My heart stopped. Everything inside me collapsed. Then the line went dead. The phone fell from my hand and landed on the carpet with a soft thud, but the sound echoed inside my skull like a bomb. I stared at it, my breath coming in short, uneven bursts. My ears were ringing. My palms were sweating. My mind felt like it was struggling to catch up with reality. A male voice. A voice I knew. A voice I couldn't place, but it carried something sharp and unforgettable in its tone. I bent down slowly, picked the phone up and stared at the blank screen. Call ended. Just like that. I stood in the middle of the room, frozen. My heart had stopped beating normally, it was pounding in heavy, painful thuds like it wanted to break free from my chest. I replayed the voice in my head over and over again until it began to form a shape, a memory, a person. But no. It couldn't be. It shouldn't be. I grabbed my car keys, heading toward the door. I had no destination, no address, no clue where to start. All I had was a voice that sounded like a ghost from my past. As I stepped outside, the evening breeze hit my face, but it did nothing to cool the fire burning inside me. I opened the car door, and paused. What if I lose her? What if she never comes home? What if that man, whoever he is, wants her for himself? What if I am the last person she wants to see? The thoughts came like arrows. I forced myself into the car and started the engine. I drove blindly through Lagos, turning corners without thinking, my mind racing faster than my wheels. Aisha was with someone. Someone who said, we need to talk about your wife. Why we? Why did he sound so calm? Why did Aisha sound so defeated? I slapped the steering wheel in frustration. Aisha didn't deserve this. And truth be told, neither did I feel like I deserved a second chance. But I wanted it desperately. I needed her. The city lights blurred past me. I barely noticed the honking, the crowded buses, the noisy street vendors. Everything faded. Everything except the weight in my chest. I drove to her mother's house in Bogota, empty. I drove to her cousin's place in Lekki, nothing. I called Zainab again, her phone rang out. Hours passed. By midnight, I found myself parked outside a small church compound. The building lights were off, but the gate was open. I didn't even know why I stopped there. Maybe because I needed something bigger than myself to help me. I stepped out and walked in. The night was silent. The air was still. The moon cast long shadows across the compound floor. I sat on one of the outdoor benches and buried my head in my hands. "Aisha," I whispered, "please don't give up on us." For the first time since childhood, tears slipped down my face. Quietly. Helplessly. My whole body trembled with fear, not of losing the bet, not of losing my reputation, not of losing control, but of losing the first woman who made me feel human again. I was still sitting there when my phone buzzed. A message. From the same unknown number. My fingers shook as I unlocked the screen. It was a short text. "Kunal, meet us at the place where you first saw me. Come alone." My breath caught. The place where I first saw her? I knew it instantly. The art gallery at Victoria Island. The same gallery where she stood staring at a painting titled Becoming. The same moment I first approached her, not out of kindness, not out of admiration, but because of the stupid $5 million bet. My stomach twisted. Was she taking me back to the beginning, to end it? I rushed back into the car and sped toward Victoria Island. The highways were almost empty. Every minute felt too long, every second felt like punishment. When I arrived, the gallery was closed, but the front lights were on. Someone was expecting me. The moment I stepped out, a shadow moved near the entrance. My entire body tensed. "Aisha," I called out, voice trembling. But it wasn't Aisha who stepped forward. It was the man. Tall, broad-shouldered, familiar. His face came fully into the light, and my chest nearly cracked open. It was Tund, my former best friend. The same man I hadn't spoken to in nearly 4 years. The same man who was there the night the bet was made. Suddenly everything inside me froze. He looked at me with eyes full of something between judgment and sorrow. "Kunal," he said quietly, "it's time we talked." My voice barely came out. "Where is Aisha?" He didn't answer. He just stepped aside and tilted his head toward the gallery entrance. "She's inside," he said. My heartbeat roared in my ears. "What does she want?" I asked. He took a slow breath. "Not what she wants," he said. "What she found out." A cold chill crawled down my spine. "What did she find out?" I whispered. Tund looked straight into my eyes. "The bet wasn't the only secret you kept from her." I staggered back. "What are you talking about?" I shouted, panic rising. He stepped closer. "She found out who put her name on that bet list. She knows it wasn't you alone. She knows someone else was involved, someone very close to her." My blood turned to ice. "What?" I breathed. "Who?" Tund held my gaze a moment longer, then said the words that shattered everything I thought I knew. "Kunal. She found out the other man in the bet was someone from her own family, ****. My knees went weak. My heart nearly stopped. "What did you say?" I gasped. But before he could answer, the gallery door creaked open behind him. And Aisha stepped out slowly, her eyes red, her expression unreadable, her hands shaking. And standing right behind her, a second familiar silhouette emerged from the darkness. Someone I never expected to see here. Someone who looked at me with guilt written all over his face. Someone who should have protected her. The sight of him made my chest collapse inward. I took one broken step backward, unable to breathe, because the man standing behind my wife was her own brother. And he finally opened his mouth to speak. "Kunal. I'm the one who gave them her name." I froze as Aisha's brother confessed. The words hit me harder than any betrayal I had ever felt. He had given her name for the bet. The air felt heavy. Tund's presence didn't make it any easier. I wanted to scream, to throw something, to shake everyone until the truth came out fully. But Aisha, she was the only one who mattered. She was trembling, standing there, her eyes red but steady, and I realized something. I had wasted enough time. I took a slow, shaky breath and stepped forward. "I don't care who gave your name, Aisha," I said, my voice trembling but determined. "It doesn't matter anymore. What matters is you. I'm sorry, truly sorry, for everything. For hurting you, for using you, for every second you doubted your worth because of me. I can't erase the past, but I can spend the rest of my life making it right." Her brother stepped forward, guilt written all over his face. I never meant for her to be hurt. I thought I was protecting the family somehow, but I see now it was a mistake. "I'm sorry, Aisha." Aisha's gaze softened. She turned slightly to him, nodded once, and then looked back at me. Tund stepped back quietly, watching. For the first time in years, I realized he was no longer my problem. The real battle was with my own mistakes, my own guilt, my own failure to value her. I needed to know the truth, she said quietly, her voice steady now. I needed to see it all, every betrayal, every lie, every game. She inhaled. And now I see it. I see that despite all of that, you came to me. You chose me. I swallowed hard. I always will. I'm not asking for forgiveness, just a chance to prove it every single day. She studied my face, searching as if weighing my soul. Then she smiled, a small, hesitant, beautiful smile that felt like sunrise breaking through storm clouds. I've missed you, Cunnel, she whispered. Something inside me shattered and rebuilt all at once. I stepped closer, reached for her hands and held them gently, reverently, like I had learned to cherish the most fragile thing in the world. I've missed you too, I said softly. Every single day. She took a deep breath and nodded. Then let's start over. From now on, no games. No bets. No lies. Just us. I felt tears prick my eyes. Just us, I repeated. Tun stepped aside, finally letting the past fade into the shadows. Aisha's brother looked at us with relief, then quietly left us alone. For the first time in months, maybe years, we walked into the gallery together. It was empty now, the paintings silent witnesses to our story. She leaned against me lightly. I've changed, Cunnel. But I see now that love is stronger than mistakes. I've changed too, I whispered. And I will spend the rest of my life making sure you never doubt that again. We walked out into the warm Lagos night together. The city lights shimmered like stars, the world alive around us, but it didn't matter. For the first time we were alive to each other, truly. And I knew, no bet, no mistake, no betrayal could ever take this from me again. This time we chose each other, fully, without fear, without shame, and with all our hearts. The night air smelled like rain and new beginnings. And for the first time, I felt like we had a future bright enough to match the love I had always felt but only now truly understood. The Lagos skyline sparkled beneath the golden sunset. From the balcony of their new home in Ikoyi, I watched Aisha laugh as she tended to her small rooftop garden. Her hair was tied back in a loose braid, her hands gentle yet confident as she arranged the potted plants she loved so much. It had been a year since everything fell apart, the bet, the lies, the betrayal. And yet here she was, radiant, strong, and completely herself. The retreat had changed her in ways I could never have imagined, but the transformation was deeper than appearances. She walked with a serenity and power that filled the entire space. I felt proud that she had survived, proud that I had a second chance, proud that she had chosen to share her life with me again. She looked up and caught me staring. Her eyes sparkled, full of warmth and mischief, just like the first day I met her. You've been watching me again, she said with a teasing smile. I'm allowed, I replied softly, stepping closer. You're breathtaking. Her lips curved into a smile that made my chest ache. You still mean that? She asked, half teasing, half serious. Every single day, I said, holding her hands in mine. She squeezed my hands gently. I've learned something this year, she said. Love isn't about perfection. It's about choosing each other even when we're flawed, even when the world has hurt us, even when fear tries to break us. And I choose you. I pulled her close, holding her as if letting go now would be the greatest mistake of my life. She rested her head on my chest and I felt her heartbeat, steady and alive. Not just for today, I whispered. For all our tomorrows. She laughed softly, the sound filling the balcony and the evening air. Yes, for all our tomorrows. We stayed like that for a long time, letting the city fade around us. For the first time I felt complete. For the first time I knew that the mistakes, the lies, the betrayal, they were all behind us. And what mattered now was the life we built together, stronger than ever, filled with trust, love, and respect. And as the sun dipped below the horizon, I realized one thing. Our love was no longer a bet. It was our choice. Every single day.